I'm just so sorry.
In case I get assaulted on my way home, I always record who's around me on the train before I get off the train, in case I get followed off the train. There's always some kind of psycho hate-stalking vehicle that pulls up to the corner of Union Ave and Green Street as I'm approaching the building from having been out all day. What are the chances of every single time I approach the building after having been out for hours and hours and hours, so I'm not anywhere in the area and I'm not doing anything around here that people could be tracking and predicting, some psycho hate-stalking BLM filth vehicle pulls up to the corner and just sits there with the engine running for like 30 minutes. I think it's crack. I do think the Greenville group is selling crack out of the doorways of that corner right there, because that's where all the vehicles are constantly pulling up, and they pull up at the strangest hours and at the strangest times. And because I do not get back to the building at the same time every day, this is just weird. I mean, I could see if it was at the same time every day, like, you know, somebody is getting their groceries delivered at like 8 p.m. every Tuesday, and at 8 p.m. every Tuesday, that vehicle pulls up as I'm approaching the building. But this is a different time all the time, but the same thing happens. So then it's not a coincidence. It's these creepy vehicles that suddenly pull up with people inside, and they're just blasting music and smoking whatever. Then they start shouting shit at people who walk by, getting in their face because they claim to be activists, but really just a bunch of hate-stalking, no-life, low-life rejects. Man, I just got a blast of marijuana. It's definitely BLM. All these pieces of shit do is sit around and smoke weed all day. They don't have jobs. They don't have kids, or if they do, they don't take care of them because they're out screaming and shouting and sitting in cars smoking weed all night long. I mean, they're just terrible lowlifes, really. And because they're miserable and jealous, they hate stalk people who aren't as dysfunctional as them. It's 11 p.m. on a Sunday night. What are these creepy vehicles doing suddenly converging on the intersection of Union Ave and Green Street at such a random late hour? And it's not like the weather's nice. Oh, shit. Not a coincidence. Here come all the BLM hate-stalking rejects. Time to get out of the way. Yeah, now everybody suddenly has to leave the building. I do everything I can to avoid that exact situation by deliberately coming back hours after I get out of work, so I don't have to deal with these rejects getting in my face literally as I'm going up the stairs. They suddenly have to all come down the stairs at the same time. And this happens just about every single time I come back to the building. Almost every time. That's why I always have my phone out, because these pieces of filth can't stop getting in my face, no matter where I go. But especially around this building, because that's where all the hate stalking originates. The BLM psycho trash that won't leave me alone are all residing in this building. As Oleg Alexeyev, the crooked slumlord property manager, told me, well, when you get a group of Black people together and they all do stuff and they go to the police about you, then that changes everything. Yeah, they go to the police about me and make up a bunch of psychotic, completely wild lies about how I use drugs and I'm a hooker and I'm a white supremacist. Yeah, they're too stupid to realize that the drugs that I take and have always taken are vitamins. Never took drugs, not prescription, not illegal, that's for sure. And I worked for Barack Obama's re-election campaign. So who's a racist now? You BLM hate stalking, reverse racist pieces of lying, perving, creeping shit. And crazy? No, not even half a chance of that, you fucking rejects. Check out my medical history of 52 years. Not once did I ever have to go see a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist. Not because there's anything wrong with seeing a therapist or going to see a psychologist, but because I never had to. I am always and have always been perfectly capable of regulating my emotions, even when I am literally red in the face, pissed off. I can control it and I can stop it on a dime and at will. So, they're stupid. And the police are stupid too, because the police don't fact check anything. They're like, okay, oh, you poor little BLM hate stalkers. We're so sorry that angry white woman over there won't leave you alone, even though she almost never leaves her unit and certainly doesn't ever go near these pieces of shit. But they're too stupid to know that. I think it's safe to go up the stairs now. I don't hear any more people running down the front stairwell as I'm about to go up. But you see, you never know. So you have to keep the camera rolling just in case some psycho comes flying at you down the rear stairwell after you've avoided using the front stairwell just to not have to deal with anybody coming at you. Well, this looks about how I left it earlier today. One of the first things that they teach psychopaths in crime school is how to pick a lock. And you usually can't tell if your lock has been picked because it's a fairly straightforward procedure. You can Google a bunch of YouTube videos on how to pick locks, and it's really not that hard. So how do you know if your lock has been picked? You don't. And therefore, this lovely situation right here. Well, that all looks like it did when I left it. So let's just hope nobody managed to get in here any other way. I'm not sure how in the world they would get in here, but my housing agent seemed to think that people were able to get in here instead of using this door. They were getting in through the bathroom by crawling over the space that is above the drywall of my bathroom from the unit directly next door, which is unit 78. Lo and behold, all the crazy psycho trash stuff that happens to my unit comes from the bathroom of 78. And the drywall in my bathroom doesn't go all the way up to the roof. There's a gap pretty wide. And my housing agent said that when you have a suspended ceiling, as I do in my bathroom with large tiles, you can actually get into somebody's living space by removing the ceiling tiles, because the ceiling tiles are a fake ceiling and the real ceiling is usually a lot higher up, at least a couple of feet, large enough for any adult person to crawl through if they really want to. And the people in this building are not even remotely normal, as evidenced by the fact that there are a number of sex offenders and career thugs being sponsored by the Greenville Group as part of their sponsorship of a criminal activist group called BLM. So, career thugs, mentally disturbed psychopaths, obsessively perverted sex offenders, and pedophiles. That's who the Greenville Group chooses to house in proportionately large numbers in this building. And then they managed to get in here somehow without really making it look like the place was, violently invaded. So they're good at it. My dad's car was stolen in Connecticut recently, and it was stolen out of a parking lot of the building complex where he lives. And there are security cameras in that parking lot. So there's actually security footage of these career criminals, low-life thugs, stealing my dad's car in the middle of the day in front of a security camera. And they literally managed to steal his car, start it up, remove the club that he had on the steering wheel within less than 2 minutes. Psycho trash, hate stalking, career thugs, such as those sponsored in this building that claim to be BLM activists, but are really just psycho trash, hate stalkers who want to be affiliated with BLM. I mean, they might not even be actual BLM activists. Maybe they just say they are. They're able to get in here without really leaving much of a trail of destruction. I only notice that somebody has been in here when my stuff goes missing. My food gets contaminated all at once. So like all the food suddenly goes bad all at once and you can't eat anything at all. And it's not the fridge, because the fridge has been functioning perfectly well for years, and like there are sudden holes ripped in your brand new clothing that you've never worn and still have the tags on them. I mean, that kind of thing, right? They get in here, you just don't know how. So again, my housing agent suggested I start blocking off my bathroom door, because if there's a suspended ceiling with large ceiling tiles, he said usually there's a large gap between the suspended ceiling and the actual ceiling of a foot or two, and that's wide enough for somebody to get in here from the adjacent unit, which is, lo and behold, what a shocker, Unit 78, where Irizarry, the mentally disturbed BLM activist, career hate stalker, has been accessing for over 11 years now. So do the math on that one. It's not a stretch to figure out who keeps managing to get in here.